founded on a proprietary taste. If I want the Whopper, where am I going to go? I'm going to go to Burger King, home of the Whopper. They also flame broil it. Unlike McDonald's, you can go to Burger King and get a burger flame broiled like you would do it in your backyard. So then it makes sense for Burger King, whose core target is men, 16 to 26. Oh, why don't we launch low-fat fries? People who are weight conscious or health conscious aren't going to go to Burger King for low-fat fries. And people that love the brand, you're reminding them, oh, we're not for you. We used to be for you, but we're no longer for you. Right? This is one of the more stupider. This is worse than my hole has a can. My can has a hole in it. This is a better idea for Burger King. This product was invented in Japan. They called it the Angry Whopper. But they came up with a black bun. I think it's got some jalapenos in it. I think this might be Heisenberg from Breaking Bad. But the cool thing about this burger, aside from everything you see, is when you eat this bun and this product, especially if you're an 18-year-old kid, boy, it makes you pee green. Right? How many boys are going to tell their friends, this is like the coolest thing in the world? Right? So this reinforces who you are as a brand. Low-fat fries doesn't do anything except waste money. The person who invented this Dorito was a taco shell, took it to Taco Bell 3 times before they bought it. It's the most successful new product launch Taco Bell's ever had. And in hindsight, it's obvious, right? They're in the disposable Tex-Mex business. Take a Dorito, wrap it in a taco shell, eureka, right? I always say about Taco Bell, if they come out with a product which if you told your grandmother, she would say, we're all going to hell, it's on strategy. They're wrapping a taco right now with chicken. It's like, who could come up with that? But they know the business they're in. They've got 5 ingredients, they rotate them around, they keep launching new products, Dorito and Hooptatito, and it doesn't really matter what it is, but it gives their core audience reasons to come visit them, right? Red Lobster. If you're in the seafood business, you're in the Cadillac of food. And if you're in the lobster business, you're in the Cadillac of the seafood business. It's not that easy to say, hey, I'm going to have a nationwide chain of family affordable seafood restaurants, right? We didn't come up with that idea, they did, but that's not a very easy value proposition to complete. But when Red Lobster says we have Lobster Fest, you're taking a very proprietary reason for being, they're making an event out of it, and they're reminding you they own seafood in America, they own lobster, they own Lobster Fest. So I think this is a really smart way to kind of take the reason for being and effectively communicate it. So I believe that purposeful marketing, just to give you a definition, connects your reason for being, your company's reason for being, with your customer's reason for need, your reason for profit, how you make money, your reason for belief, why people would believe in you. Like, I don't believe in Wells Fargo, right? But I might believe in Country Club Bank or something like that. But my reason for belief into a larger strategic thesis where you're connecting your vision, your strategy, and your plan. Right? That's what purposeful marketing is for me. And here's how to tell if your marketing is purposeful. Interestingly enough, I met with a potential client a few weeks ago, president of the company. I was really surprised. He had the sheet in his hand. And as we were talking, he was like, and I think what he was telling me was, geez, Dave, we're not doing these things, and just help us get to a better place. Leverages knowledge gained from your customers. How many times do I meet with executive teams that say, Dave, we're getting the sales presentations, we're getting meetings with prospects, but we're not closing. And I said, are you taking what your best customers are telling you about how great you are, and are you sharing that knowledge with their prospects? And it's like, oh man, we never even thought we'd connect those two. But every day you're capturing insights and knowledge from your customers. That's actually, they're telling you what your reason for being is. Communicating your brand promise. What is your brand promise? What are you promising me? I guarantee you it's not price. something more substantive. Answer the question, why should I buy from you? Hopefully that's part of your elevator speech, but why should I buy from you? Go beyond the idea, go beyond the item and sell the idea. Each of you, as you were introducing yourselves, you might have an item or a service, but you actually have a bigger idea, right? What is that? What does it ladder up to? Is what you say relevant, compelling, believable, and persuasive? If I look at an ad, or if I meet with someone, I look at something they're doing, is it relevant? Is it believable? Does it cause action? That's, I think, where I started with this presentation. If you actually do this marketing thing, is it going to cause action? Is it going to cause something to happen? Right? What's that going to be? Are you creating demand? A lot of companies confuse marketing with sales support. Marketing is creating demand. Sales support is helping the sales force sell more effectively. Put yourself in the role of a salesman, right? If I'm calling on you and you've never heard of me before, now as the salesman, I have to communicate what the company is, what it does, what the benefits are, why should you buy it, and how much harder is that if you already know who I am, because marketing's created demand for your product, right? Delivers measurable results, and generates more business than your marketing budget, right? Those of you that are dissatisfied with your marketing are probably feeling that you're spending more than you're getting. So about 25 years ago, I got this picture in my mind. I was at a meeting at Miller Lite, and we were doing their annual planning for Miller Lite. I had driven up to Milwaukee, and we're sitting there with the brand team. And Miller Lite had been about 2% off in sales that year. And the brand team was saying, what are we going to do to get the brand back to even? And even though I was like 26 or 27, I'm thinking, this isn't what I want to do with my life. I don't want to get Miller Lite back to even. Like this, it's so unimportant to like what I care about. And so I was, I didn't realize I was charting this in my mind, but essentially, I raised my hand. I was the brand team. Well, what's the plan to go 10% or 15% or 20% growth? What is that plan? That's the plan I want to work on. I want to work on the 2% plan. And so in my mind's eye, I had this idea, okay, we've got a trend line going. It could be flat, it could be even, it could be positive, but we have a trend line. But how do I get the trend line vectoring in a different angle, and what is this thing that's going to get me from here to there? And so now when I work with executives and leadership teams, I'm trying to figure out what is the vision. Tell me what your vision is. I just wrapped up an assignment a few years ago where I was the COO for a company for 4.5 years. And during the entire interview process, I couldn't get the owner of the company to tell me what his vision was, because he didn't have one. He wouldn't tell me. And that was frustrating for me because I wanted to build this, but I couldn't build this until I knew what his vision was. And eventually he just said, well, you create the vision, and then, okay, if you allow me to do that. But I got to have a vision before I can have a strategy, and then I can have the plan that gets me from here to here. And that's very holistic, it's very tight. So let me introduce this concept of best first dollar spent, and I'll give you a few examples. So all of you have heard the idea that if I advertise milk, put it in the back of the store, run it at a loss leader, I'll drive traffic to my grocery store, I'll drive traffic through the store, they'll buy the milk at a discount, maybe I'll sell some other things. You learned that back in somewhere, but loss leader and everything. But what if I look in the database and I see a 70% correlation between chocolate chip cookies and milk? And what if I advertise the chocolate chip cookies and I get the milk sale? That's a better first dollar spent in my marketing, right? Because I'm getting more average check, I'm getting more departments visited in the store. Just a smarter dollar. So here's your two great marketing challenges: deciding what to do and deciding what not to do. It's very hard for marketers, but it's also extremely hard for non-marketers not to see customers as additive. Oh, we're going after women and men and kids and seniors, right? And the more additive you get, the more people really don't know what you are. And one of the exercises I put my students through is I say, okay, come up with a concept for a used car lot. Tell me what it is. And the used car lot that's going to sell lots of cars is going to spend lots of marketing dollars each week telling you all the cars they have with the hopes of getting you. How different is that than the used car lot that says, I'm only going to sell Corvettes. Those Corvettes built before 1965, priced over $100,000. If that's my used car lot, people will find me. I won't have to do a lot of marketing because the customer target's defined, as opposed to everyone's my customer target. So deciding what not to do, you hear that in poker, right? When they talk to those poker pros, they say, oh, folding is actually more important than the hand you stay in on. Because every time you fold, you're not losing money. Right? So it's the same thing in marketing. Deciding what not to do. And even if you're a small company, you're faced with, I actually have a lot of information, and all that information is just giving me more complexity. How do I sort through that complexity? So, to actually make it harder, a couple years ago, Time Magazine, within 6 weeks of each other, had these two covers. The secret of happiness, say yes to everything. Doesn't matter what it is throughout your life, something comes your way, say yes to it, you'll be a happier person. Warren Buffett, the secret to being a successful investor, say no to everything. No matter what comes your way, no matter what it is, say no, you'll be a more successful investor. So, what Peter Drucker says, the purpose of business is to create and keep a customer. So there's a big, really important strategy author and originator called Michael Porter. He's written a lot of books on strategy, and in one of them he's got this concept called the value chain. And in the value chain, he divides everything in your business into two parts. The stuff that it takes to run the business, operations, finance, accounting, everything just in terms of running the business. But then the other part is this thing called marketing and sales, which is getting customers. And what Peter Drucker is saying is, hey, part of your business, the most important part, is getting customers. I've started 4 companies in my life, and one of the companies I started, my friend and partner was the one who went around to investor groups trying to get funding. And after about 2 years of doing that, I had him speak at one of my classes, and I asked him the question, what's the one question you get in every single investor pitch? And he said the same thing the sharks will tell you. How are you going to grow customers? That was the number one question he got in every investor pitch. How are you going to, like your business model? You seem like a nice guy. Maybe I'll give you money, maybe I won't, but how are you going to grow customers? And that's what happens if you're on Shark Tank. How are you going to grow customers? What does it cost you to get a customer? And if you get a customer, what's the value of a customer? Understanding that. I put an offer on a business back in February that, so this is fine. This guy's 91. He wants to sell his business. I had several meetings with him, and one of them he says to me, Dave, back when I was 75 and I had a lot more energy. And I said, can I quote you on that? He said, yes, you can. So he's trying to sell his company at 91, but a 30-year-old company, he built it. But the thing that I love most about the company was each of his clients stayed with him on an average of 10 years. They only left him when there was a change in ownership of on that side. He had to chase down the new owners and make the sale again. But every one of his customers paid him $2,500 a year. And so I obviously did the calculation, and I said, oh, so each one of your customers is worth $25,000. Yep. You mean if I go out and get 4 new customers, I just got 100 grand? Yep. If I get 8 new customers, I just got 200 grand? Yep. I love this business. I want to go get that business, right? Because I understood what the acquisition cost was, the customer value. I knew how to get customers. I immediately fell in love with this business model. He had annuities. Each one of his customers was an annuity. So some of you are doing planning, your annual planning for your business or your marketing planning. I'll call it the wrong way. I'll go on record, I'll say it's the wrong way. And the wrong way would be, hey, let's take a look at last year's plan. Let's kind of eliminate the stuff that wasn't working. Let's add the stuff that we need to add that's new. And that's how you end up with Starlight hang tags year after year after year. Everything, a lot of marketing is, stuff just gets annualized. You just keep doing it out of habit. And this type of marketing planning doesn't allow you to just kill stuff that is annualized. So another way to do marketing planning is actually thinking, what do you want the marketing to do? You want more customers coming more frequently, spending more. Those are kind of like the big rocks of marketing. But in our new world, there's actually new rocks. If I'm Best Buy, I've got a lot of shoppers, but I really want buyers, right? So some of you have business models where you might get a lot of shoppers, but that's not going to pay your bill. You need buyers. How do you get buyers instead of shoppers? And then in the new world of marketing, people are actually looking for moments as opposed to people. My son just started working for this jewelry store, and I know the owner of the jewelry store, and he said, Dave, I want to sell 50 more bridal sets this year. Each bridal set he sells is around $12,500. So I want to sell 50 more bridal sets this year. And I said, that's doable. But then I'm telling my son, how do you find the guy 3 months before he's going to get engaged? You've got to find that moment, right? Once people are engaged, they self-declare. But I got to find that person 3 months before they get engaged so that I can intersect the moment, right? And so that's what's really cool about the new big data and all the data you're collecting on your customers is you can kind of figure out the customer journey to the sale and intersect the moment as opposed to just targeting the person. Here's some other goals you might have. At beauty brands, I was trying to drive higher average check. At Westlake Ace Hardware, I was trying to drive share of visits. But each is different depending on your company, but there's lots of different things you can chase. You're trying to get sales, profit, that sort of thing. So this is too small to read, but a good place to begin is just these 3 questions. And quite often when I work with new clients, we'll have a work session before I onboard them. And generally the work session follows this. What does winning look like for you? I just started working with a guy who is owns a pet food company, and he sells super premium dog food. And I said to him, hey, in 2017, what does winning look like for you? What are your goals? And he's got 400 customers right now, and he immediately said, I want 4,000 customers at the end of 2017. Okay, just like the bridal set, I know exactly what he thinks success is. And then who are we going to win with? What are the customer segments that are going to do that? And then how are we going to win is actually the plan that needs to be built. But if I've got this framework and these 3 questions, what does winning look like? Who are we going to win with? How are we going to win? Then I can kind of map out, if any of you are thinking, oh, I can't write a marketing plan, it just sounds like such a daunting task. This is actually the framework of just a very easy to map out marketing plan. Early in my career, I was on the Kellogg's business, and if you're a brand manager at Kellogg's, they adopted brand management from P&G, but if you're a brand manager at Kellogg's or P&G, you're essentially the president of the brand. So if you're in charge of Frosted Flakes, everyone at Kellogg's that works on Frosted Flakes reports into you. Your title's brand manager, but you're the president of the Frosted Flakes company. And so every year, the brand managers have to stand in front of the management team of Kellogg's and say, here's my brand plan. And they're limited to 3 slides. This is the work they do prior to that, but they're limited to 3 slides. Slide 1 is state your business. What's the state of your business? Growing, declining? What is the state of your business? Question number 2 is the most important question. What drives your business? If you're the Frosted Flakes brand manager, you need to know, are retirees driving our business because they're eating Frosted Flakes in lieu of a prepared dinner? Are moms buying Frosted Flakes because they love growing up on it and they're buying it for their kids? Are kids driving Frosted Flakes because they love it and they're forcing their parents to buy it? You need to understand what's driving your business, and then what are you going to do about it, which is the plan. So, going back to the reason for being question, I'll ask a lot of my students, I'll ask you, if I'm driving down the street and I can turn left into your business, or if I can turn right into your competitor's business, why do I turn into your business? Help me understand that. Why you? Why am I choosing you? Another way to say it, and I talk to my students about this, they're going to interview for a job mostly when they graduate. And I'll tell them the single most important question. If you're in a job interview, you get lots of questions. How do you like going to KU? Tell me about Lawrence. I saw you played on the lacrosse team. How do you like that? Blah, blah, blah. We ask you a whole bunch of questions, but they're really proxies for one question. Why are you here? Why are you here? There's only one question in a job interview. Why are you here? There's only one question in your sales pitch, in your sales presentation. Why are you here? I used to work for ad agencies. You've seen in movies and TV, big ad agencies doing the big pitch. Comes down to one question. Why are you here? And there's only one answer to that. I got up this morning. I love social media. All I do is social media. All I do is think about social media. You wouldn't believe how much I love social media. You're looking for a social media manager. Oh my God, how cool is it we found each other? I love social media. You're looking for social media. We found each other. My reason for being matches your reason for needing. Unbelievable. Over the last several years, I've interviewed for several CEO and CMO type assignments. And there's not one of them I haven't gone into with a 3-year plan written out. Because I want to walk into it. Why are you here? I've got a 3-year plan for your business. If you hire me, this is what I'm going to do. This is not what you want done. Don't hire me, because if you hire me, this is what I'm going to do. Now, obviously, I don't know everything about your business, but from what I know about your business, here's what I think needs to be done. I wrote this blog a few years ago. I think it's one of my most popular blog posts. I had a presentation to a nonprofit group once, and I was the third speaker. And I didn't have anything in common with the first 2 speakers, and I had to sit through their presentations, and the more they presented, the more I realized I was in the wrong place. And I really lucked out in the fact that before my presentation, we had a coffee break, and I went up to the host of the conference, and I said, I'm really feeling like you got the wrong guy. And I'm speaking in a couple minutes. And he says, no, I know you are the right guy. I said, well, I just heard these guys speak. You're not them. And so my mind's racing. I'm trying to figure out what to say. And so as I walk up to the group, I say, you know what conversation I hate? There's like one conversation I hate. I always hate it. I always get caught in this conversation, and I hate it, and everybody's kind of leaning forward. I say, I'll meet someone new, an entrepreneur, small business owner, and they'll say these words. Dave, I just built this new website. I spent all this money. Would you take a look at it? Shit. I hate that. Because here's what's going to happen. I've just discovered how magical your business is. You've told me how cool it is. You've told me your reason for being. I've just been mesmerized by how cool a business you are and how you're helping all these people. I'm looking at this website that you've just spent all this money on, and it doesn't tell me your reason for being. It doesn't tell me why I would buy from you. It's got a picture of your building. It looks like a Yellow Pages ad. And now you're asking me to tell you what I think about your new website, and I'm going to tell you. That's the hard part. I'm going to tell you. You got this great business. And it doesn't tell me why I met this architect. I started helping this architect with this business. And he said, I got into business. I was working for the big architectural firms, and no one was doing architectural, working back from the person that uses the facility or the product. And I'm such about the environment of the people working in it and how the environment architecturally helps the business. Like he did stuff with hospitals, he did stuff with ballparks. And everything in his mind came from the user experience. Well, that's not on your website. You got a picture of your building, a picture of your employees, and your hours. Right? I want to know your reason for being because I have my reason for need, and we're not going to find each other if you're just like, I'm the architect, and here's my hours, right? So, some of you might have seen Fast and Furious 11, 12, 19, 34. But the next Fast and Furious, you already know what the movie's going to be. Because you know the reason for being. It's very simple. Tax for X and sex. That's the reason for being. As long as they do version 19, 20, and 21 and deliver their reason for being, they're going to meet your reason for need to go to this movie. So this is where it all starts, reason for being. It all starts here. You have to understand your reason for being. And when you find people working with you saying, oh, we can do that too, that's off strategy. Reason for being, reason for need. And last thing I'll leave you with is, you take a look at your customers, and you've got people that love you, and people that use you a lot. And these enthusiasts are the ones that drive your profit. You've got people that love you and use you less often. You've got people that use you and don't love you, if you're a cable company or a phone company. And then you have people that don't use you and don't love you. And here's a conundrum that a lot of people don't see about marketing is this is the big sucker bet. Oh, look at all these people that aren't using me, I'm going to go after them. They're not using you because they don't even use the category. You're not going to convince them. There's a group of people here, and these people will tell you why they use you, and that's your reason for being. That's the secret of marketing. That's why you can drive business. Because you understand why people love you and why they use you. And then that'll help tell you your reason for being, reason for need, value proposition, brand promise, and customer card. So Terry's going to give me the hook, but I'll just answer the proposition I put at the beginning, why Victoria's Secrets and Taco Bell have the same strategy. So some of you remember there's a time when Gap was successful. And when Gap was successful, they were doing what Victoria's Secrets and Taco Bell does now. They create news in the category that drives traffic to them. So you see Victoria's Secrets 4 or 5 times a year launching new products. They're in the fashion business, and they're telling the category, look at the new fashion products we're having, and they're driving traffic off that. And it's the same as Taco Bell saying to all the heavy fast food users, we've got a new product, come give it a try. And so they're using product news to drive category traffic to their brand.